I don't want to enter a position now. I'm gonna wait a little bit. Wait for this 15-minute to come up a little bit. And then I think it's gonna be a pretty good entry at around 136, 136, 9, 12. But and then I think all right, let's take a fresh look right over here. So everything is running up and running well. So, all right, let's start with GBPJPY, obviously, and let's start with the daily here. So looking at the daily, this daily candle is coming up. It's also coming up to this daily rejection area where it may reject. This daily candle also rejected yesterday, 136,800. So at the same time, I mean, it's moving bullish. So it has the potential to continue up to fill the wick at 137,250. So that's around like 39, 40 pips away. So looking on the 4-hour time frame, for that daily candle to fill the wick right up over here, we'll need the 4-hour candles to continue moving bullish, right? But the problem is that it's approaching some sort of a resistance at 136,900 and 137 even. So we have to go down to the small time frames now on the 1-hour time frame and see what's going on. So looking at the 1-hour time frame, what we do see is that there was a support created yesterday. There was support, and then 1-hour candles came up here. This candle closed below 136,850. This 1-hour candle rejected that area, closed below. This 1-hour candle is still open, so we're not sure how this 1-hour candle is going to close. So let's take a look on the 30-minute time frame here. 30-minute candles are basically, we created a support for this candle to continue moving up, but the whole problem is that there was also resistance created at 136,900, right? So if you're in a buy on this 30-minute candle and anticipating it to continue moving bullish, just understand that the previous candle closed below this minor resistance right over here. So you would need a break of a high on the small, yeah, so basically you would need a break up above over here to give you some confidence that okay, we're continuing to go up, right? But right now I don't think there's much confirmation right now. I think the only confirmation is going to be around 136,910, 136,915, and from there you can expect price to continue moving. So stop is going to be like 10, 11 pip stop loss, and then you're anticipating price to break above this minor resistance to continue up towards 137,050, 137,100. But if we break below, let's say 136,800, then obviously, we have clean candles moving up from 136,600. So price could continue down to correct this move up, which we had earlier on after London Open. So that's something I'm looking for at this point, because as long as that doesn't happen, price is just ranging right there. Shout out to Kenya, shout out to Kenya. Blessed with what you teach me. I'm running away. I'm visualizing correctly. All right, let's take a look at this chart here. Clean range to the left, fake out after breakout, candle close bullish, 30-minute lift to wick, very strong entry at the break. Oh, nice entry right over here. Okay, close 75%, 12 pips. Beautiful. This is awesome. That was an awesome trade right there. So right now, for this 30-minute candle to continue moving bullish, we need it to break its own high, and then at that point, I'm going to be entering a buy position for price to continue on towards 137, and then essentially we can continue up towards 137, 100. So let's take a look at gold here now for a little bit here. Gold is continuing on now. We're at 1906. This daily candle is moving up now. The whole problem is now this daily candle on gold, like the structure, it kind of seems like the structure on the 30-minute on GJ, right? So it's coming up here. Let's take a look on the 4-hour. Let's remove all analysis here first. So looking on the 4-hour, we have a support formed at 1900 on gold. We have another resistance approaching at 1912, right? So that's around like 60 pips away from where price is right now. So let's take a look on the 1-hour here. 1-hour basically broke above this minor resistance. So I think it's going to be better for gold to come down, to do like a retest or like make some sort of support and then continue on towards at least 1909. I think that's going to be a much better idea for gold to continue up. So there's going to be some sort of waiting there as well. Let's take a look at this chart here. This is previous area of interest, possible fake out to see how next weekend will close. Okay, possible impulse trades, very good. Yeah, it's kind of like the same idea I have. Impulse trades right over here for price to continue moving up. But if we break below the support, then we're continuing down. So that's why it's really important to wait at this point. Okay, let's take a look at the Chinese indicator here. The Chinese indicator is saying that the yen is weak, which means GJ should continue bullish. This means EURJPY should continue bullish. So, I mean, I don't really go off of this. This is just for shits and giggles, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to look at Forex Factory here. Oh, okay. Forex Factory is having technical issues. Awesome. Maybe someone forgot to pay their domain fee registration. All right, let's take a look at. All right, so we got some, USD news at 8:30, and that's about it. Yeah, I guess that's about it. So we'll have to wait to see how things play out over here as these 15-minute candles are forming. Took buys as this 1-hour candle closed bullish right over here. Managed risk, got stopped out for 30% of full stop loss. Okay. After breakout candle, put a buy stop of the range. Yeah, that's beautiful. This is a really good example of giving your trades a second chance, right? So you gave it a first chance, didn't really work out, and then you give it a second chance. So it worked out perfectly. So that's pretty good. Hey, check your New Zealand. It is straight bullish from yesterday. I think you need to send a chart for us to check any your New Zealand or whatever you want us to check. Have a look at my chart. If you send it, we'll take a look at it. So we're just waiting here on GJ here. All right, GU. If this candle closes beneath the support, I will be entering sells with my target 1.29250 down here. The only thing I worry about is whether or not this would be too early as it generally isn't real volume. Well, it could be a good idea, but then there's a support right over here. So I think having a target down here is a little aggressive. I think having a target somewhere over here, 29450, is much better, right? So that's something could play out. It's kind of like the same thing on GJ here too. If we break below this area, we could continue down. But if we start breaking the highs here on the small time frames, then we could continue moving bullish. So there's a bit of a waiting here. Let's take a look at EURJPY. Let's see EURJPY. Wow, man. EURJPY is reaching for the skies over here. Straight bullish all the way from yesterday, all throughout New York session, ranged, Asian and London, and then boom, after London open, just straight up. Let's take a look on the 4-hour here, see where Buddy is headed. So Buddy is reaching towards another resistance at 124,740. Let's take a look here. Got a resistance over here. We have another very, very strong resistance up at 125. So I think this is the area where price can really play into. So if we're looking on the 1 hour time frame, it kind of makes sense because we're reaching a resistance here. So all we would need to see is some sort of a support forming or like a retracement on EURJPY to continue bullish, or even something like this that happened yesterday, like right here. Candle closed bearish and the next one just breaks the high and continues moving bullish. Something like that happening here would be perfect too for price to continue moving bullish. Hey, if I'm not gonna make it for this last lifetime mentorship, what are going to be the options later for mentorship? So what you can do is you can send an email to this email account here. And reserve your spot. Yeah, let's do that. So yeah, so far basically we're just waiting here now. We're waiting. Da, 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 da. Someone's getting roasted over here. Bizzle3 is the most annoying person in the gulag every day. Is it good to... It was good entry at previous 30-minute close. You'll go up to retest high. No, because there was a resistance right over here. There was a resistance here because the 30-minute candles went... So we have to... So when we're looking at candles, we have to tell like a story, right? So these candles moved up. Obviously bullish candles. Next candle went bearish, so there's a resistance formed, right? So there's a resistance formed now at this point. And the next candle closed bullish. It closed bullish and now there's a support formed. Now as this candle moves up, it sees that there was a resistance formed, so it retraces, rejects this area and closes below it. So it's closing below resistance. So taking a buy at this point, it would makes sense, but at the same time the probability is going to be much lower because you have a 30-minute resistance forming at this point. So you need some confirmations that this resistance is going to get broken. So for those confirmations, we look at the 15-minute. Now 15-minute candle also closed bearish over here, so there was no buys, right? So I mean, you want something to close bullish or break above 136,912 to give you that confidence that we can continue moving up now. But if we start breaking below the low, below 136,800, then I think there's a very, very high probability we're going to continue moving down towards 136,600. So that's something I'm looking at right now. Like, I'm not only looking at buys, I'm also looking at sells because price moves either up or it moves down. So you gotta look at it from a buying perspective or from a selling perspective. Buy, sell. Yeah. So yeah, just waiting. Gold here as well, same thing here, waiting for a little bit of a retracement to create a support for price to continue. This is beautiful. Now this thing is coming. If it comes down and rejects 1903, oh man, this thing is going to continue back up towards 1907. So we're all at the train station waiting for the train to come along so that we can jump on it. All right, let's take a look at this. Gold, area of resistance broken. Support should be formed here to continuous movement. Yeah, this looks good. Technically, this is exactly what should happen technically. So I think that's going to be a wonderful move if that happens. Also, like, if you get confirmations of like, price forming support here to continue up, I think we can break this minor resistance and continue on towards 1909. Hey, Wicks don't lie. Background music is romantic. Yes, because we're trying to romanticize the candles here. I'm trying to watch these candles, and I'm like, hey, where you going? Where you headed to? But like mostly it's just waiting now, because price is in the range, and it's like a great idea to wait over here. We got some USD news later on, building permits. I mean, yeah, that's about it. Nothing really important happening. Moving on to Wednesday. Wednesday, we have a lot of pound news coming on, so that's going to be interesting. We got PPI, we got CPI. Wednesday is going to be a very, very heavy day for pound. I think Wednesday is going to be that kind of day when you wake up in the New York session and you see pound just rocking and rolling like into a London session. It's going to get very difficult. Oh, there we go. We're breaking below this area, but the candle hasn't closed yet, so it's kind of like a little bit of waiting involved here. I was doing well for the month of October, executing good risk management, half my lot size, was comfortable with the execution, ended up getting stopped out, got slipped 25 pips. Yeah, that was unfortunate. Brexit news. I think the same thing happened yesterday to people too. Like, they were in trades on GBPJPY and price just shot up. Same thing happened on Friday. So, those things happen. And you just got to say, hey, like, what? It's totally fine. We just got to continue moving along, because there's nothing wrong with your trading. There's nothing wrong with your technical analysis. It's just that things lined up perfectly. And hey, I guess there was Brexit. It had to happen and price slipped. Would this be a wait for a close on a 15-minute on GJ? I don't know what that means, but I'm waiting for the candle to close. If I can get a close, and I think with the confirmation on the next candle, I can take sells and we can continue down here. All right, let's take a look here. This is support formed. Was waiting for a breakout here. I was expecting to take a sell because when our impulse entry didn't want to be in a big drawdown. Yeah, this was in a count. I mean, I don't know. I mean, we didn't really break support. You needed the candle to break and close below. See, if I'm not entering an impulse trade at this point, and I'm waiting for a candle to close, I think you should do the same thing too. You should really wait for candles to close below to give you that confirmation. You didn't take this trade, but the ideal thing would have been to wait for candle to close. Do you have a sell stop around 136.800? Nope. I have no trades at this point. This candle is about to close in 9 minutes. So now here's the thing, right? And this is really important. Now, since I'm waiting for this candle to close, right? I'm accepting the fact that it can continue moving bearish to, 136.620. I'm accepting that fact. And on the flip side, I'm also accepting the fact that it can retrace and close above 136.800. So there should be no FOMO. I mean, if I'm going to wait for candle to close, I'm basically going to wait for candle to close. If I miss the move here, that's totally fine. Because, next time we can have candle coming up, create like a minor resistance, and then continue down. Or if it closes above 136.800, then we know that this move down was a rejection. And we can continue up. So, waiting is important. I think EURJPY is trying to break above here further on. It's pretty interesting. Kept moving bullish. On the 4-hour time frame, we see a resistance at 136.700. Could this be a 4-hour retest to continue up? I think with that statement, if a chart would have been present, would have been much better. But now, like we have to look at so yeah, it could be a retest. So we're looking at the smaller time frames right over here. Because if that's going to be a retest, then we need some sort of a rejection here, right? A support formed or a support up over here for price to continue up and whatnot. Would you take the previous resistance area of 136.70 into consideration? Probably, like, that's a gray area now. And you mean this area right over here, right? 136.70 to 1 right over here. So this is a gray area. And the reason why this is a gray area is because even though we had resistance here, but this resistance was nullified by this move up. Because if this was something important, price as it was moving up, it should have reacted to this area. So now when price is coming down, it's not like we're completely ignoring it, but we're keeping this in the back of our mind. But also we're basing this move down based off this big clean move up we had. Isn't the range too small to take sells on a counter trend? Well, it depends on your risk, right? For me, I think this is a good enough range. It's like 18, 19, 20 pip range. So if I can get a trade, maybe let's say somewhere over here, 136.780, then I think this is enough range for price to continue down right over here. But it all depends where you take an entry. I mean, if you have an entry right over here at 136.750, then obviously the range is not enough, right? So you need a better entry to have a better range. All right, let's take a look at this here. This is GJ 15 minutes, waiting for the support being created here to enter on buys, to go test the high form and lend a session. Yeah, I think it's good. I think that's a good idea here. So you're counting this as like a potential resistance here. So if you do form support, then obviously, we can continue going up, but we can't really ignore this minor support here as well. Yeah, somewhere right over here. If you look on a 30-minute, this was a support formed. In a situation like this, do you ever take an impulse entry to sell? No, because I didn't take a sell. If this was a situation to take a sell, I would have taken a sell, but in my opinion, I don't think it was a good option to take a sell here. When it was supposed to take buy, it's about 136.690. It's good, it's good. Yeah, we're just kind of waiting over here. On which days does Uncle Ted join? Uncle Ted joins whenever he wants. Uncle Ted is like a unicorn. And the thing about unicorns is that they're always like, they provide a lot of value, but you don't catch them every day. If they show up, they show up. Even for lunches and dinners, If he's available, he's available. If you never close your position, then you will never lose money. That's true, but you need to have a smaller lot size as well. Would you consider sell for next candle to fill the wick if it provides a decent stop loss? See, if I'm looking for a sell on the next candle, I'm basically looking to see, because if I do enter, I would enter somewhere at 136.780. That's where I want to take an entry, because that's going to be a pretty good entry, because there's a support down over here, and if I take an entry at 136.780, I think then I'm going to have enough range to take a trade and actually secure profits. But if I don't get an entry up over there, then I don't think it's going to be a good idea to take an entry down here in the middle. So it's very important to wait. Gold also doing the same thing, is coming down towards a potential support. Can we use channels to help understand how the zones and ranges form? It's up to you. I mean, if you think channels help you, you can Use channels. Oh, that statement came with a chart. All right. All right, let's take a look here. This is GJ 30-minute charts. Yeah, I mean, so you have your resistance, you have your support. So, I mean, you can just use those instead of channels, and then you have this other resistance down over here too. So if your question here that someone's trading like a smaller account and the gains are not decent, instead of building slowly current account, I think the only reason you should be adding money to your smaller account is that if you can see consistent results for a month or 2 months, right? If you're seeing consistent results for 1 or 2 months, I think that's the only time you should add some money to your account. Because at the end of the day, what you want to do is you want your you want to make gains, right? But the thing is, like, if you're starting with a $300 account, and if you add money, let's say $1,000, now that capital is going to be more. So the drawdowns are going to be bigger. The price fluctuations are going to be bigger. So it's very important to just start with small accounts, stay with it for about 3 months, 2 months, see how it goes, and based on that confidence, then you can say, okay, you know what, I might want to add another $500, or I might want to add another $1,000 because I've been consistent for the past 2-3 months, right? One mistake people make is like they'll trade for a week, they'll see that they're making money, and then they'll either gonna add a lot of money or they'll go with a funded account without even knowing that if they're consistent or not. So I think spend about like 2-3 months on your smaller account, see how your consistency is, see like how well you're doing, and then add more money. I just lost 1,500 pounds, might start a signal service. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good idea. So this candle is about to close here. 30-minute candle is about to close in a minute. The 15-minute candle is about to close as well. I mean, if it closes below here, I think, yeah, you have to wait for this candle to close. If it closes somewhere at 136,780, I might be entering a sell for a price to continue down. Are we in a trade at the moment? Comment by Faiza K. So there's only you, and that's it. There's no we, there's no us. It's just me, you, and everyone else. So we are not in a trade. Are we in a trade? It's like a campfire, where everyone's taking trades. Oh, are you guys in a trade? Let's tell some horror stories on trades. You want to hear my horror story? You want to hear about the day I lost money? I want to see this small support break for me to take sells. Oh, right over here. I think if you can get some sort of a confirmations here, we can take sells for price to continue down as well. As what's happening right over here. This candle is about to close. 30-minute candles, 1-hour candles bearish as well. 4-hour candles rejecting a little bit as well. So, but the only thing is that these 5 minutes are still bullish over here. So even if I take a sell at this point, having a stop at like 136,850, like a 7-pip stop, and anticipate price to continue down, I think that could be a pretty good idea. But this is just coming up, making higher highs and higher lows. Even though the stop seems perfect here to take a sell, because this sell would be like a retest in this area for price to continue down. And let's see here, stop is 6 pips, TP should be around 10, 11, 12 pips. But this is the whole problem. We're moving up over here on the 5 minutes. We're continuing to make these higher highs. Yeah, I kind of want to wait for the 5 minute to flip bearish and then take a sell. Because the only thing I'm worried about is that what if I take a sell and then Brexit comes in and then, you know, things go bad. All right, let's do this here in a little bit here, because I just want this to see as the 5-minute candle passes the halfway mark. I want to see if it's going to break the high or is it going to start flipping bearish. Because if it starts flipping bearish, then there's a big probability we're going to continue moving down. I don't like how the 1-hour candle closed above previous resistance. Yeah, this is the point here too, right? I mean, it's closing like a rejection here. So we're stuck. A very delicate situation at this point. I'm not gonna lie. Extremely, extremely delicate situation. All right, let's give it a go here. So I took a sell. Stop is above the previous 15-minute candle, and anticipating price to continue down over here. But now the only problem is that there's this rejection showing at this area right over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the 5-minute time frames, and I'm going to try to see if we can manage risk if price goes against us. Actually, you know what? I'm not comfortable with this trade, so I'm going to close this trade. I'm not comfortable. I'm not going to take this trade. Yeah, I think it's better to be comfortable to take a trade. I'm not comfortable at all, and the only reason I'm not comfortable at all is because there's a rejection. There's a rejection down here, so I'm not sure whether price is going to come down or not. So I'm not comfortable. Even if it continues down, that's totally fine. But my confidence is not there to take this trade. It looks nice, but it's one of those things which are just too good to be true, right? It's like market is saying, come on, come on, come on, and then the market says, you're not going anywhere, I'm gonna take your money. You know, so I'm just gonna stay away. If the current 15-minute candle closes bullish, with that small wick, better entry on next 15-minute candle when it breaks the low of the current one? Yes. That is absolutely true. So yeah, price is acting like Slim Shady, and Slim Shady means it's super shady. So I'm gonna possibly just gonna wait it out. I'm gonna be willing to miss this move. It looks good for a sell, but just these rejections, they're not making me enter the trade. All right, let's take a look at this chart here. Oh, wrong chart coming from the gulag. This person sent his chart 3 times and there's the wrong chart. It's only Tuesday, plenty of trades to come. Yes, exactly. I like how you show no hesitation to close your impulsive trades. Yes. You need to be, I mean, as confident you are in entering a trade, I think you should be just as confident in letting a trade go. All right, let's take a look at this one here. This was a 15-minute chart, previous bullish candle entering short right over here. Oh, nice. Yeah, beautiful. So this was your one trade for the day, I guess. Yeah, wasn't comfortable. Because I think if price closes above 136,800, we have a much better opportunity for price to continue up, because since the trend is also bullish, so it would make sense. This is what I see now, and I'm much more comfortable with my analysis. Let's take a look here. I now see that if you get a 30-minute bullish close at this current support, it could be a very good buy opportunity. Yes, that is true. Oh, looks like Brexit talks are going to continue. You know what that means? That means that pound can move bullish with any Brexit announcement. That's what it means. So if they're back doing all that mess, then I think that's something we could expect, right? For pound to move up. Like, imagine we take a buy and Brexit news comes in and everyone's TPs get slipped by 20 pips. Oh, what a beautiful day that's going to be. The TPs get slipped by 20 pips. Why bullish? Because every Brexit news that we've seen in the past has moved pound bullish. So that's why. Gold is also creating this minor resistance area, coming down to create a support to move up over here. EURJPY is showing some sort of weakness in the bullish move, possibly a retracement to continue bullish. So we're going to have to wait and see. I think so far it was a pretty good decision not to enter a sell, as you know, these 5-minute candles here, they're kind of like consolidating here, moving side by side. So not a good price action to take a trade here. If a wick touches the last support resistance, would that be enough confirmation as a retest? No, that would not be a good confirmation for a retest. What if it continues moving down? Even if it continues moving down, that's totally fine. Because the main thing is your psychology is most important when you're trading or when you're looking at the charts, right? If you're not comfortable in a trade, there's no reason to be in a trade. Like if I would have been taking this sell, and this sell, even though if it played out, I was comfortable in not being in the trade, right? But if I was in a trade, I was uncomfortable. You know, so I have to protect my psyche. I have to protect my mindset. That's really important. It's not only that you have to protect your capital, but at the same time you have to protect your mindset too. Like if you're uncomfortable being in a trade just because, you know, someone else is in a trade, you want to be in the same trade, but your comfort level is not there, then you should not be in a trade, you know. Like I saw this move, I'm like, okay, you know what, makes sense for it to continue down, but I'm not comfortable. I just closed out the trade because I'm not comfortable. And because of those rejections down over here. I've seen these before, and see now it's starting to move up over here. So if we start moving up here, start breaking the highs in 15 minutes, I think we can get price to continue moving bullish at that point. Yeah, like above, you know, 136,850, and then anticipate a Brexit move, moving up towards straight to 137,100. Oh boy, oh boy. Yeah, it's going to be a pretty good idea. You must be making a joke because I only remember the GBP selling off after Brexit moves. I think you are making a joke here, not me. Because if you look in the past, every Brexit move has moved pound bullish if that Brexit move has came from the pound. If that Brexit news has come from the euro side, then it drops. But if it comes from the pound side, like the UK side, it always continues to move up. Because they view Brexit as something good for the economy. Someone's saying that's incorrect. That is 100% correct. 100% correct. You can look back in the charts. See this right here? This was Brexit. See this right here? This was Brexit announcement, pre-London. This was Brexit from the Euro side. This was pound, up, London open. So you can go back in the charts and check. This was also Brexit from the pound side. So I don't know what to tell you, but I mean it's all right here. I mean you can tell me all day I'm wrong, but it's right here on the charts and I'm correct. What are you eating? I want some of that successful food. You know what I'm eating? I'm eating pan bahar. Let me show it to you guys here. It's yeah, it's something like this. It's pretty good. Pan bahar. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's actually very sweet, and it's for those people who have who have bad breaths, you know. For all you stinky people out there, it's for you guys. Pan bahar. You know, someone with the bad breath, you give them pan bahar. You're like, hey man, here, have this. How would you know it's going to be UK side news or EU side news before it comes? That's I've mostly seen come from the pound side. So, you know, like we got to stay optimistic here. So, you know, this candle is about to close in 2 minutes. This 15-minute candle is closing bullish over here. The 30-minute candle is still open. We don't know where this is going to go. If this 15-minute candle closes back above 136,800, then this move down becomes a fake out. And the way how it becomes a fake out is, let me explain it to you here. So we had a move up, right? Oh, let me get my arrow here. So we had a move up. Price moved up perfectly, you know, we made a high at 136,970. Price came down, created a support. This kind of support, this kind of broke down. It broke below this support. So for price to continue down, we need a rejection on this candle. But if this candle closes back in the range, then this move down becomes a fake out. And if this is the fake out, then there's a very high probability for the next candles to continue moving bullish. So I think it's going to be a pretty good idea once we close back above 136,800 for price to continue moving bullish. And if Brexit can come in, I think that's going to be a cherry on top, right? Cherry on top for price to move up. So I think it could be pretty good to, like, you know, have like a 7 pip stop and have price continue moving bullish. What are the psychological reasons for fake outs? Is it any correction? Well, basically, I think fake outs are just liquidity grabs, right? Because if the overall trend is bullish, and if you're getting a move like this, which breaks below support and closes back above support, then that's basically a liquidity grab for price to continue moving bullish. There we go. Candle closed right over here. Looking at the 30-minute candle. 30-minute candle is also bullish. 15-minute candle is also closing bullish at this point. Just take a look at the 5-minute here for a little bit. Now, this is where I'm waiting now. If we come up towards 136,830, I think that's going to be the point where I'm going to be entering a buy position and having a stop below the 15-minute candle and anticipate price to continue moving bullish. Probably some sort of a buy stop here would make sense too. 136,840, 840, 830. How do you delete pending orders in Magic Keys? That's a good question. Oh, you just press open calc. But if you want to delete it from Magic Keys, I guess press close trade, close all. But if you have other positions open, then you got to manually close your manually close your pending order. All right, let's take a look at this chart. This is 15-minute. Notice how 15 minutes we keep making lower highs. Maybe if one candle can do a high high, might get a confirmation for buys. Yeah, that's true. That's true. See this? Was waiting to see if we break above to continue up, but nothing. Nothing. Waiting is so important. I mean, sometimes, you know, our fingers are on our mouse. We want to enter a trade, but realistically, you just gotta wait. You just gotta wait a little bit longer. Yeah, GG's up to no good. Let's take a look at this chart here. This looks suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. 30-minute candle close bullish. That's pretty good. I think you can trail your stops now under the 30-minute candles if you really think price is going to continue moving up, or you know, secure positions and put stops under the candles. What if the 15-minute candle breaks the low of the previous? Would you consider sells? I don't know. I'm not sure at this point, because I want a candle to close below here to consider sells. Oh, looks like we're coming up over here. Looks like once we cross 136.830, I think that could be a very good position to take a buy and anticipate the volume coming in NY open here in about 40 minutes to push price continue bullish, right? But if you close below 136.740, then that would mean price can continue moving down. So just waiting over here. Where can I see the coming news? Forexfactory.com, myfxbook.com. So a lot of sources you have to view news. I think currently Forex Factory is down, so yeah, it is what it is. But like if you're asking for the Brexit news, we just don't know when Brexit news are going to come in. How does your trading change on the 4-hour versus the 30-minute time frame? The 4-hour is basically overall perspective. I mean, 4-hour is rejecting this area, so 4-hour is kind of like ranging in here. So can't really take a trade based on a 4-hour because it's potentially ranging. The price action isn't that juicy, I would say. But looking on the 1-hour time frame, 1-hour is kind of like rejecting resistance. It's coming down. It's still open. Not sure what's going to do. You know, looking at down to the 30-minute time frame, looks like it's rejecting this area to continue down. But if we look on the 15-minute, this 15-minute candle, if this closes bearish, I think then there's a very high probability we're going to continue moving down. See, so it's very important. Either we close above 136.800 to continue moving bullish, or we close below here a bearish candle to continue moving bearish. So just gotta wait. We got 10 minutes left over here. So it's pretty awesome, right? Now for 10 minutes, we just have to wait. But if we continue moving bullish, I think we can take a buy for price to continue up. All right, let's take a look at this. Financial juice. You know what's another good website? Another good website is Capital Hungry Twitter. Is this the one? No, this is not the one. I think this is the one. Oh yeah, this is the one. Promoted tweet. Egypt has more than 1 ton of sugar reserve sufficient for 4 months. Oh. What is Egypt, Hungary, central banks, Indonesia? Oh yeah, these are just random news over here. Are you also facing a delay on the screen sharing, or is it just me? I'm not sure. I think the only delays they're going to be is on YouTube. So we got 9 minutes for this candle to close. So far, no trades. Candles are just closing side by side, and 30-minute candle is also going to close over here. I guess if you're going to break the low, we should continue down to 136,630. Hey, does Magic Keys work for Mac Air and Pro? Yes, but you need to use parallels with it. So this is a very important area right over here, right? For sells to happen, you need a break below this area for price to continue down. Even though this is a small range, it's a very small range. I'm not going to be entering a sells in there in that range. It's tiny. Like, because if we break below here, if I take a sell here, it's like a 10, 11 pip range. Not enough. Would want a bigger range. I mean, if that range was about 20 pips, then I'd be like, okay, you know what? Perfect. Makes sense to take sells, but it's not enough range here to take sells. I think a better idea for sells would be, I would say below 136, 500, 530, because if we can come down below this area, then you have a much bigger range, right? You have like almost a 20 pip range and coming down towards 26, 27 pip range. So yeah, we're just waiting here. Hey, I bought the same monitor as you did, but it's lagging. What's your PC RAM and processor? My RAM is, let's take a look here. How much RAM do I have? So I have 16 gigs of RAM and oh, I have Ryzen 3600. I thought I had 2600. Oh shit, okay, I have a better Ryzen than I expected. Yeah, running 4K, like it requires some processing power, if you're running 4K. So I have two 4K screens connected. I'm also streaming at the same time too, so processor speed is very important at that time. Is pound yen your favorite pair? Yes. That's basically the only pair I trade most of the times. Ooh, someone's magic keys also came through the door. Beautiful. So yeah, I've decided not to take this sell because the range is not that big. Like it's like a 12 pip range. It's garbage. I need like a bigger range to take this sell. So staying away from it so far. Did you build your own PC? I bought a PC and then I added components to it. Alright, I'll be right back. All right, so this candle is about to close. Looking at gold, gold is coming down to that support. EURJPY is also forming some sort of a consolidation area here. And GJ, 30-minute candle is closing bullish, but closing below that area. And 30-minute tells a better story. This is something which I've seen work all the time. Now, if the next 30-minute candle breaks the low right here, man, we're continuing all the way down, and now I'm getting interested in taking this trade. I'm getting very interested in taking this sell over here. What's this? Oh, sell right over here. 2 times fibs further down, risk free, continue down here. It looks pretty good, pretty good. Yeah, this looks pretty good now for the 15-minute. If we can break the low on the 30-minute right here, we're continuing down. This is a similar setup we saw when Brexit news came and everyone just got demolished if you took that trade, but we're gonna try it again. What about support to the right? We're going to ignore that support and we're going to anticipate. Like if we break this low, then we're anticipating price to continue down towards 136,620. So as we continue down below the support, I think, oh, there we go. We should continue bearish at this point. Entering a position here, having the stop above the previous 30-minute candle, which is around, you know, like 9 pips, and anticipating price to continue down towards the 136. I'd say 630 would be a pretty good target. Very nice. Coming up. So this is something, this setup, I've seen this month 4 times. I've seen this setup 4 times. It worked 3 times. The 4th time it didn't work out because, you know, Brexit came and it just went up. So. Are you no longer afraid of the zone to the left? No, we're no longer afraid. Now the bravery is coming in me because we're breaking below this area here for price to come down. There's a member in our group, Leroy, and Leroy has taken these exact same setups on the New York session streams twice. You know, and this is that same exact setup over here. Someone is saying RIP to whoever sold. Okay, well, we're not going to rest in peace. We're going to rest in profits here as we come down towards 136,630. Yeah, it's RIP. Rest in profits. Take a look on the 15-minute. 15 minutes also breaking the lows here. So this is where now we start to get a little cautious, right? So now the 15-minute candle is open. Obviously, we need this candle to close bearish. If this candle comes back up towards, let's say, 136,770, that's where I'm going to be closing 50% of my position, right up over here, if it breaks its own high. But so far, you know, it's coming bearish. It's looking pretty good to come down to correct this move up we had from London Open. And yeah, it should rest in profits here. Sometimes I found Raja is FOMO, but is also human. The FOMO trade was earlier. The sell I took earlier, that was a FOMO trade. This is not a FOMO trade. This is a well-planned, executed trade. I've seen it happen a lot of times. So I'm up about 8 pips at this point. So are you in a sell right now? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I'm in a sell or I'm in a buy. I'm not sure. I mean, you guys can see the screen, right? Secure profits around 136,680. due to the wick rejection to the left? Yes. So as we're coming down to this wick area here, I mean, if you want to secure profits, you can secure profits, but I'm letting the whole thing run because I believe that if it's breaking below this low, it's breaking below the support, it should continue down towards 136,630, basically to the base of where the move started in London session, right? And for that, I'm also okay with closing a trade at break even, or like, you know, closing 50% right over here. So if price comes back to my entry point, I'm closing 50% at that point. Hey, you said earlier that this short trade not have enough range. Yes, I said that, but I saw a setup form and then I had to take that trade because the setup I trade appeared and then I took that trade. So now there's a higher probability for price to come down over here. How can price be under my sell line and I'm still in a loss? Because of your spread. That's because of your spread. Can you explain the setup? Yeah, so basically we had a support over here, right? This candle broke support and then this candle closed like a weak bullish candle. So this entry was based on the break of the low of the previous candle. As we broke this low, there's a high probability for price to come down to fill this wick and then eventually come down towards this support at 136,630. So that's where the entry was taken. The stop was kept above the previous 30-minute candle. Once this 15-minute candle closes bearish, then I'm going to bring my stop loss from up over here to the high of the 30-minute candle. Oh, look at that, man. It's kind of like wicking up and down. Just needed to wick down a little bit more so I can secure 10 pips and then leave the rest running at break even and have a great day. I think that's all what I want for today, for price to just come down a little bit more, correct this move up, and that's it. It's going to be a great highlight. EURJPY is just ranging over here. Imagine Brexit comes and thing just goes and everyone stops, just gets slipped. Holy, that would be a bad timing. What is news comes and yeah, you know, then it is what it is. If news comes, can't really control it. So yeah, it is what it is. Hey, thanks for all the work. Wasn't it a good idea to take the sell on the retest of 136,800? Yeah, but there was no confirmation for me. I didn't see any visual candle confirmations for me to take that sell. So that's why I didn't take it. So I think this is the area where people should be looking to secure some profits at this point. To secure some profits and leave the rest run for price to continue down towards 136,630. Let's take a look at gold. Gold is also coming down. It's kind of like reacting to this area to possibly continue up. So now in gold, you'll need to see some sort of a confirmation, you know, some sort of a bullish candle forming on the 30-minute, confirming support. What broker do you use? Vantage FX. How do I confirm partial stop loss in Magic Keys? Cheers. I think you need to press the partial stop loss, or there's in the key description on the website. Can you close portion of the position without magic keys? Yes, through MetaTrader. You just have to Google it, basically. You go to Google, you type in how to close partial positions on MT5. It's going to show you a step-by-step directive on how to do that. Where was your entry? I'm not, man, I don't know if half the people in YouTube chat, if they're blind or they got sunglasses on with black paint on it and they can't see the screen, or I don't know what's going on. Or I don't know if their sibling is standing in front of their monitor that they can't see shit. I mean, so I don't know. Like, these are dumbass questions. When people say there are no such things as dumb questions, these are dumb questions. You know, are you in a trade? Are you in a buy or sell? Where's your entry? Where's your stop loss? Where's your take profit? These are all dumb questions because you literally have to open your eyes and just look like this. Just look like this, right? You look, it's right there. I mean, imagine if it wasn't there, you know, then you could say, hey man, where's your entry? Imagine if it wasn't there, but it's right here in front of you. This is why you're in the gulag and you're going to stay in the gulag. You know, I mean, come on, man. Damn. Just incredible. People got black paints on their glasses, man. Like, can't see shit. So the 15-minute candle is also coming to a close at this point over here, which is pretty good because if it comes down to a close, it's going to bring my stop above this 15-minute candle. Yeah, another good question would be, are you live right now? Hey, I'm new to watching your live stream. Can you please tell the new people more about Magic Keys and how it works? Yeah, you go to magickeys.trade. I'll bring it up here on the screen here for you. So basically, this is the website. So you can go to the website, and this is what it looks like. So there you go. Uncle Ted is raising the hand. Hey, Uncle Ted.
Hey, I raised the hand. As you were saying all that, I was listening to Damn It Feels Good to Be a Gangster.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, I'm not sure what people go through or like what's going on, but you know, it's just very troubling when people can't see stuff.
I think everybody should listen to that song.
So I hope people secured profits down over there, you know, when we were reaching that wick right over here. Hope you secured profits. That would have been a very good idea to secure profits down there.
Man, we got some choppy water right now.
Yes.
Looking at gold, it's choppy.
I think gold looks better if it forms a support.
Yeah, we're stuck in that range. If you go like up to like the 4-hour time frame there, we've got issues. So this is where I really hate trading because you have this area here, a massive conflict, right? So you have this rejection here, so you should say, okay, we should go up, and then you have this rejection over here that's now pointing down. So you're really stuck at this point. I think anybody that's trying to trade gold right now, it's very tough. If this candle here and this candle here, like if it had remained bullish, I would have said easy, we're going up to here. That would have been an easy trade because you have a massive rejection, but
Oh.
That was really weird. I get kicked out once in a while at a Zoom.
Oh,
But yeah, like I was saying, that we if this candle, so the idea would be let me do this a little bit easier. Now I can't erase anything. This is really weird. Can you erase all that?
yeah.
Oh, that's really weird. So ideally, what I would do is I would erase all this, right? So if we took away all that information and we just had this candle here, what I would suggest is this rejection here would then drive back up to this point over here. Because this would be a massive zone here, and this is your massive zone over here. And then you have clean traffic here that would just drive right through. Why can't, but then because we have this candle right here, that's what creates the conflict. So sort of a wait and hold. See what happens next. It's not pretty. I mean, if this larger time frame candle flips bearish, then yeah, you can finish off this range here. So this one finishes, bearish, and then it just drives right down through here. But I mean, at this point, it's a wait and see. I've been finding too with gold, it's been trading a lot better later on in the morning as well.
Like closer to NYSE.
Yeah, NYSE, and then also afterwards as well.
All right, so at this point, I closed 50% of my trade over here, and it's just, we were really expecting it to continue down, but it didn't. So I think that was all for today over here. 15-minute candle was also closed. Closing good below this area, so this can continue moving down. So it's still going to stay in this. Oh.
Give it a little bit more. It's gonna die.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the formation on the hourly candle.
The hourly candles like this?
Yeah,
oh, okay, yeah.
1 hour candle looks sketchy.
What's the best advice you would give to someone who's 16-year-old starting to trade? What are the most important patterns I could lean right now on? I think the most important pattern is going to be trying to get good grades in school, trying to plan out where you want to be in the next 5-6 years, and keep trading on the side. Keep trading on the side as like a hobby, and it's going to work out for you. And there should be no rush. Like you're 16, you have a lot of time. I wish I was 16 and I knew about these live streams, man. Is Forex gambling? I think it's calculated risks. That's what you're doing in Forex. So I don't think it's gambling here. I also think if we respect this area on gold, later on in New York session we can continue moving bullish. But so far GBPJPY is still in positives. The trade is still running. I've closed 50% and the rest 50% is still open. And the reason why I closed 50% was because it came back to my entry. So just being a little cautious. And now it's running good. We're at 691. We should continue down towards 630. 136, 630. Seems like EURJPY is now starting to range over here. I think the only reason gold should move is because of the USD news coming on later on. That's the only, I think that's what gold's waiting for. Got building permits in 40 minutes. So far we got GBPJPY coming down. And I mean, come on, how long are you going to make us wait? We're coming on towards New York Open. New York Open is about to start in like 10 minutes. So is this push going to be for the New York Open push? Or will New York Open push it down? Find out in 10 minutes. Do you ever use GBPUSD as Confluence? No. No, sir, no. GBPUSD is also starting to come down here. Let's take a look on the 1 hour. 1 hour is also coming down. It's coming down to this major support. Man, this is a huge support on GU. Massive support. Also on the 30-minute. It's going to be wild. If we break below the support to continue here, that will be a wild move. Because look for how long we respected the support, right? If you go to the 1 hour time frame, you can see that for 13 hours we respected that support. 13 hours. How do we see video of 3 persons? I'm not sure what you mean by that. Video of 3 persons. Kerwin, what can you mean by that?
Excuse me, sir. What was that?
Someone said they can't see a video of 3 persons. I don't know.
No, man. There's a lot of websites where you can see 3 persons. I don't know what they want to see.
Anyone you use on a daily basis?
No, I don't. I'm old, man. I'm 42.
All right. GU and GJ have very similar patterns. GU at well, the thing about GU and GJ is that when you're looking at GJ in New York session, GBPJPY is only being moved by the pound in New York session. When you're looking at GU in the New York session, GU is influenced by the pound and the US dollar in the New York session. Right, so if you want GU to continue down, you would want the pound to be weaker and you would want the dollar to be really strong for it to really trend. Right, so that's why I stick to GJ, because when I'm trading GBPJPY, I know I only have to focus on one currency, which is going to be the pound. You know, because sometimes you can have pound yen moving a lot and then you can have pound USD not moving a lot because, you know, both currencies are strong or weak at this point. So that's why I only stick to GJ here. And looking at gold, seems like we're getting that rejection at 1903.
Very nice, GJ. Very nice. New York Open is gonna be good.
Yeah. Yeah, it's creating this minor support on the 5-minute. Is there any particular reason why you ignored the zone at 136.690? 136.690. See, now since the volume is going to come in about, you know, like 10-15 minutes, and whenever there's volume in the market, volume causes minor zones to break. So I'm anticipating the volume coming in with New York session to break through 136.690 and continue down towards 136.630. That's what I'm anticipating.
I know. I know you can do it, Chicho.
All right. Beautiful.
Yeah,
Coming
man.
down over here, I'm securing 10 pips at this point. Took a little
Very
while,
nice.
man.
Very nice. 600. That's next.
600 down here.
Yes. Yes. Very nice.
All right. TP has been hit and growing beyond TP.
Yeah, man. Beautiful.
Lovely move.
We would like to the stream.
This trade took a while, I'm not gonna lie. Like this retracement up, it took a little bit of time.
But to be honest, was a stress-free trading.
Yeah, this is actually a stress-free trade. So everyone in YouTube, if you got this trade, you made profits, give a like on the stream. Man, come on.
There
Give a
you
like.
go. I got it.
You got it. 600 also tapped down here for Kervin.
Okay. Now, very nice.
Beautiful.
Well
Was
done, guys.
50%.
Yeah, that was a very, very nice trade. If you look on the 30-minute here as well, looked beautiful. Broke below the low and just continued straight down.
Very good.
Amazing.
Lost 50%, rest of break even, and stress-free trading. Brought to you by Wex Online.
Vex Don't Lie and Kervin Hornito.
Bonito.
Yeah, man. So just took one trade and that's it. Done for the day now.
Yeah, man.
Honestly, just done for the day. GU also continued moving down here. Yeah, now if you have runners, keep your runners running and it's going to be a beautiful day.
Yeah. See how beautiful the 1 hour candle was? Beautiful drop. Right to the T. This is the thing you need to focus day by day, you know. Focus on one trade, one specific trade, and it's gonna pay out like 90% of the times.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Main thing is just to like wait for that confirmation because I remember price broke down here and I was just waiting. I was like, I'm gonna wait. This kind of formed, I said I'm gonna wait. This kind of formed, I said I'm gonna wait. And then the 30-minute candle closed like this. I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna execute once we break the low. And because in the beginning, the candles were not printing the way I was comfortable with or I've seen before. You know?
Yeah.
But when this candle printed like this, I was like, oh man, oh man, oh man.
Yay.
I think people have to get used to that too. I mean, Kerwin hit it on the head. You know, you're going to find that there's going to be probably one really good opportunity in the market, say at this time, and then probably another one later on in the morning. A lot of times people will try and take a position and, you know, they miss this opportunity and then they try and chase other ones. You really got to make sure that you see how, you know, what how the market is forming, because this had clean traffic all the way down. You know, this candle here, and then basically we mirrored this move right to here. So these are simple things that you can look for, but you also, like Raja said, you need that volume coming into the market, and that's what was happening just before the North American Open.
Yeah.
What's this? Hey, I started trading 7 months ago and I'm not profitable. I make me frustrate and upset. I think I waste my time, but I learn a lot from the market and also your stream. Please advise me. Yeah, just take 1 to 2 trades a day and it's going to work out. And there were people here earlier on, they were saying that how this is not going to be a sell, because I'm not going to talk about that. It's okay. Can you show the color of your zones? You can see it right here. I've been following the stream for 2+ years. Oh, nice. I'm trading live since mid-September and I'm still consistently losing 1% every day without even overtrading. I think once you're losing, once you say that you're losing consistently 1% every day, I think you need to look at your losses. You need to look at your losses, and you need to see that how could you have taken a winning trade? How could you have had a winning trade? What did you do wrong? Because obviously if you had a losing trade, then your bias was wrong, right? Your idea was wrong. So I think what you're not doing is not looking back at that loss and saying that, okay, how could I have had a winning trade? That's what you should look at every day. Because now, after this day is done, I'm going to come back to this trade and I'm going to look at this and I'm going to say, okay, you know what? This worked. And I've actually seen this setup work at least 15 to 20 times over the span of 4 or 5 months. Not over the span of like 1 to 2 weeks, but 4 or 5 months. When people do these simulations on new pairs and then they say that they're back testing the pair. You can't back test a pair if you simulate for an hour. That's not back testing. Back testing is watching the pair every day for 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, and that's real back testing. So it takes a lot of time. It takes a long time. So you can see this rejection here. We came down to 136,600, strong rejection. So that was the trade here. This trade ran for about what? For like 14 pips.
Almost 16. I got 16.
Oh, nice. We'll do 15. 14 for me, 16 for you, and mid for everybody. 15 pips. So if you took this trade and you profited the trade, just understand that this was your trade that you had to take. You made money on this trade, and that's it. That's it. Now there should be no over trading, no over risking. I mean, if someone made money on this trade and this was your first trade of the day, there's no reason why you should look for another trade. So just be happy you got scammed here in taking a winning trade, and just wait for tomorrow to get scammed again. And then later on, man, who knows, like maybe you get good enough that you start taking your own trades with more confidence without even coming to the stream. Like every day I get messages from people that say, hey, like, you know what, we stopped watching the stream because we think we've learned enough mentally to trade on our own. And I think that's an amazing, amazing idea. That's an amazing place to be in, when you can take the trades, not being on the stream, and like, yeah, it's pretty amazing, I think. I watched GJ for 3 hours a day for the last 5 months, and it works. I know GJ like a family member. Yeah, man. You start understanding these pairs like they're your family. Like gold. We know gold is that bipolar family member who cannot get along with no one. Because out of nowhere it can do like a weird move. You're like,
yeah,
where did that come from?
It's crazy.
Yeah. G's is that psycho family member who's okay most of the times, but that sometimes it has some anger management issues. Especially when Brexit news comes in. Man, I remember my first Brexit on GJ. It slipped me 20 pips and it started moving up and I got sucked into it. And I took buys and then it dropped. And then it took sells and then it moved back up again. And I'm like, oh my God, man, like, why is it happening to me? And the only reason why that was happening to me was because I was just trading like a retard, we can't say the R word, like a maniac. That's what it is. Because that's what you call a revenge trading. Like it's like when you take your account on like a suicide mission. Do you only trade on pattern recognition or do you also wait for news to drop? I trade based on candle formations. Can we repeat the same trade? Well, you got to call the market and ask them if they can repeat the same pattern, and then we can take the same trade. Can you post this trade on your IG? Yes. Oh wow, gold is dropping. see what EURJPY did over here. Oh, EURJPY is still ranging. I think it's still going to range till NYC. Enter another sell on trade on GJ, right? Wrong. There's no more sell. I think another sell was right over here, but it was risky. Oh, wow.
Yeah. The other sell was the wick fill on the hourly candle. So yeah. And if you manage the trade, be the same exactly trade as the one before, because your stop loss should be above the previous 15-minute candle.
Yeah.
Small risk.
Yeah, I'm actually pretty happy with the result for today.
Oh yeah.
I'm very, very happy.
Big time.
I mean, we waited about an hour for this. It came on, impulse entry, and it just worked out very well. The only thing I'm not happy about, well, I'm not satisfied, was about that I had a 15 lot open, and when price came to my entry point, I closed 7.5. So I only made, I made 10 pips on 50% of the position.
Okay, so if you, instead of having 15 lots, you had, let's say 10, will you hold this trade a bit longer and not closing the 50%, or it doesn't matter to you?
I still closed 50%.
Okay.
And the only reason was because price was coming to my entry, and if you look on the 5-minute here, it basically crossed above my entry and took me a little bit of a drawdown. Yeah, this retracement here took me a little bit of a drawdown.
Okay.
So when it went into a drawdown, then there was a probability that it may move further up. So instead of me risking my entire open stop loss, I decided to risk 50% of that stop loss.
Okay.
But at the same time, won the trade, so it's a win-win.
That's great.
Yeah, man, we got to be good at 15 lot gambling. No, Lucas Wayne, 15 lot is not gambling when you've been trading for about. I mean, I haven't deposited in like a year and a half, almost 2 years. Haven't really done any deposits, all withdrawals. So it's not gambling.
I always wonder why people assume lot sizes equate to problems with trading.
I don't know, does fast car equate to problems with speed?
Yeah, that's what I mean. There's such a, I don't know, like I think people have chips on their shoulders, or they feel like, I guess it's just an anger thing. I find a lot of people, there was a guy in my DMs this morning, he was just going off on me. And I asked him, I'm like, so what are you doing to help everybody? He's like, well, I can't really help people because I'm sort of a coward when it comes to that stuff. And I'm like, so you have enough balls to sort of sit and talk with me and tell me everything that I need to be doing, and then you can't do it yourself. It's like sort of weird. But, I don't know.
Yeah, you need to help people more, man.
Yeah, I was being told what to do, and I was like, I don't understand. Like, where do these people have these opinions and comments? I mean, 15 lots is pretty small, to be honest. I mean, it's not that big. It's big relative to the size of your account. That's about it. I mean,
Yeah. Because if you look at it this way, 15 lots on a 250,000 account is okay. If you put it into perspective, that is 1.5 lot big enough on a $26,000 account.
Yeah, I mean, I guess because FX, everybody's broke and they're all trying to make money. It's hard for people to realize that there are people that have money in this world, and I think that is always going to be a super bad crutch for yourself if you're looking at somebody saying, well, they shouldn't be doing that because I can't do it. Like that's like going to the gym and saying that guy can't lift 300 pounds because I can't do it, and he's gambling with his life because he's just doing 5 reps instead of I'm doing 10 with my weight. Like it's such a poor way of looking at things. It's like if the guy wants to lift 300 pounds and do 5 reps and he's good with it, hey, let him do 5 reps. Like, I mean, why even bother mentioning it to him? Like, you're not, let's put it this way. I think a lot of people have to learn the idea that because you have an opinion, it doesn't mean that other people are going to listen to it, nor does it mean that you're going to sway someone else's viewpoint because of your opinion. And when you get used to the idea of, you know, if you want to talk about something and you disagree with someone and you can just disagree and then move on, that's probably your best way to approach life. Because a lot of people, I think, and it's younger people too, you think that you know things and you get frustrated when someone doesn't listen to you. I see it a lot of times, like even in the gulag, people, they start getting angry because nobody's listening to them. It's like, that's going to happen a lot in your life. Like, you know, you're not influential enough, or you don't, you know, and it has nothing to do with who you are as a person. It's just, that's the way life is. People will do things on their own and they will do things that make sense to them, and you're not going to sway their opinion. You know, so I think people just need to focus on what's best for themselves, and like, I mean, I don't know, just not waste time with other people. Like if you think 15 lots is a lot, yeah, it's probably a lot for you, but for other people, it's not a lot at all. I mean, we've got a number of people that trade big lot sizes that we know. And I mean, 15 lot isn't really that big, to be honest. I mean, if you have a $10,000 account, you can trade 15 lot. You know, $20,000 account, you can trade $15 lot. It's like somebody who has a $500 account trading, you know, a 0.5 lot or a dollar lot. Like, that's big, right? It's all relative. So
I wanted to add real quick. I think the minute people start worrying about themselves and their account instead of worried about what everybody else is doing, they'll be a lot more profitable.
Yes.
Yeah. Well said.
So many people don't enter trades or look at other charts and want to do somebody else's trade, when if they just focus on their analysis and then use the lot size for their account, whatever they're comfortable with, they're going to win. I mean, it's going to be stress-free. I mean, you tell everybody that every day on the charts to focus on themselves. Just because you're in a trade doesn't mean everybody on the stream has to get on the trade. If you're comfortable with it, then proceed. But if not, do what you got to do. So simple.
Yeah, I think one reason why price moved down was because the entire gulag took sells over here. Price just said, all right, let's go down. Let's make the gulag happy today. Gold is about big moves. I get stopped out almost always by the spread and not by the price itself. Then I guess your stops are not put at decent positions, you know. One mistake I see people make is that if they're going to put a stop loss, they will put a stop right above the candle and not a few pips above the candle, because what if price comes up and the spread is going to take you out? So you need some space above the candles to put the stop loss. It's something what we programmed in Magic Keys with, like, there's a new function which basically trails the stops above the candle highs. So instead of having the stop loss right above the candle high, it places it a couple pips above the candle high or the candle low. Yeah, man, that new function, I mean, my partner is a genius. He's like, I think he's like Steve Jobs. Well, Steve Jobs, he couldn't code or anything like that, but you get the idea. All right, let's take a look at this chart here. EURJPY buys at right here, 124,800. 124,800. Yeah, it makes sense for price to continue up. Makes sense. 30-minute candle is also open. 15-minute candle is about to close. Yeah, I think stops should be below the support right here around like 10, 11 pips, and then anticipate price to continue up. Also, another good thing is that these candles are smaller, so you can manage risk as well if it starts going into a drawdown. We'll What's this? European Commission says willing to intensify Brexit talks with the UK. Oh. Ooh. EU wants to turn up the heat on Boris, and Boris is not going to have none of it.
Boris is crazy enough to hold on pressure, man.
Man, his mentor is Trump. You think he's going to let EU throw heat on him? No, man.
Not just that, Trump is his brother.
Yeah.
They look alike.
Exactly.
He's going to call Trump. He'll say, hey, mate, EU is bringing the heat on, mate. What do you reckon we should do now?
Well, it's going to be the greatest trades of ever.
Oh my God.
Boris, you know what I tell them? I tell them just, I'm going to do a little bit of this. It's going to be great. Maybe it's not going to be so well. There's a TikTok video that they do Trump when he does his speeches. Someone does a PowerPoint. I don't know if you've seen those.
No,
He did. Oh, I got to send it to you next time when it's like Trump speaks and then someone makes a PowerPoint beside his speech and he's like talking about forest fires and he talks about water and he's like, it was a great idea. Not the greatest idea.
Not the greatest.
There's a chart beside it and everything. Yeah, it's really good.
Let me see if you can find it.
Yeah, I'll look for it. I'll send it in.
They did better than anybody. I know it's very expensive. They're made in China and Germany.
I found it. Hold on. Google is a wonderful thing, man. You can find everything on Google. Check this out. Let's turn the music off.
No windmill. I never understood wind. I know windmills very much. I've studied it better than anybody. I know it's very expensive. They're made in China and Germany mostly. Very few made here, almost none. Tremendous fumes, gases are spewing into the atmosphere. We have a world, right? So the world is tiny compared to the universe. Fumes are spewing into the air, right? Spewing. Whether it's in China, Germany, it's going into the air, it's our air, their air, everything, right? So they make these things, and then they put them up. And if you own a house within vision of some of these monsters, your house is worth 50% of the price. They're noisy. They kill the birds. You want to see a bird graveyard? You just go. Take a look. A bird graveyard? Go under a windmill someday. You'll see more birds than you've ever seen ever in your life.
Man.
Yeah, there's a bunch of people that do these. They're awesome.
Who does facts check for this guy, man?
He just goes off on these tangents. It's so fun.
Yeah.
Well, there's that one, and then Biden when he starts talking, and then you see people trying to do like the closed captions for Biden, and it's like, oh yeah.
If you let Biden keep going, he'll just keep. He'll never stop.
That's why he's got Trump to make him stop. Trump puts a stop sign in front of his speeches. Yo, stop, hold on. No, Trump is a good times, man.
I mean, you have to admit it's like, what do we expect? Like when the problem is you go from someone like Obama who was very good at public speaking, and he had that. It was almost like the movie star, or like every time he stood up and spoke, it was like one of those defining moments in a movie, right? Mm-hmm. And then you get some guy like Trump who just basically goes off on his own. I mean, there's a difference. I mean, that's why it looks so awful when you see Trump compared to like Obama, because Obama was so well spoken and Trump is so rough around the edges, so it's magnified, right? So people compare him to Obama. I mean, if you looked at like George Bush or you looked at like Clinton, they both didn't speak that eloquently. Like, I mean, you look at George Bush, I mean, he was fumbling over words all the time, but it's because we're in such a social media empire now with Trump. Everything is captured.
Oh yeah.
because Bush did the same thing. He's like, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice. Like, he was off on these weird tangents. He couldn't go through doors properly. Like, he was getting locked out of stuff. Like, he had a shoe thrown at him. Like, people forget all those things, right?
He was hilarious.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just, you know, I don't know. It's just good luck for the USA. I mean, but I mean, at the end of the day, whatever happens in the USA is going to affect the rest of the world anyways. So, I mean, we're all stuck.
Had a girl's number. Is that true?
Oh, that is correct.
Bernie, that's tremendous. I always said you were hot. People said it's fake news. I said, Bernie's hot. Feel the burn.
Yeah, so what are you going to text her, though?
I was thinking of writing to her about the economic.
That's hilarious. I was looking for 136,700 being respected, take a buy on GJ, but instead you didn't pay attention to that level. Could you help to see why 136,700 wasn't a big thing to take a buy? But there was no buying at 136,700 anyway. I mean, if a candle closed bullish, then there was a buy, but there was no buys at that point. Plus, you also discussed how this was clean candles and it had to come down over here. So I think you'll have to watch the recap when this whole idea was being discussed. Right, let's take a look at this chart here. Coming from the gulag. Oh, GJ, waiting for candle to close here to continue down. It's good. It's good. Looks like you're gonna have to wait a little bit. Could you explain why you were confident with the sell and not worried about the resistance from earlier in the day acting as support and price retesting and bouncing off of it? Yes, because we had clean candle here moving to the left hand side. We had a support formed at this level. We had this candle close below support. We had this candle retest this area and close like a weak bullish candle. So whenever you have a weak bullish candle, this means that the bullish momentum is not there. And then the next candle, once it broke the low, I took an impulse entry and anticipated price to continue down towards, you know, like 136,600 and wherever it's moving right now. So it kind of like worked out. And also we had clean candles to the left hand side, so that kind of played into it as well. I mean, at first I was worried about this support right here, right? When this candle rejected it, this candle closed it. But once we start breaking below here, we basically talked about how the volume coming into the NY Open should push price down, and it basically did push it down. So this is something for you to study later on, like how the different volume times in the market affect, you know, like zones being broken and all those ideas. Is there any correlation between gold and GJ? These past few days I've traded them both and I've noticed that, yeah, I think that's coincidental. I've get this question a lot, if there's any correlation. I think it's coincidental correlation, but directly, I don't think there's any correlation between the US dollar, well, gold, and the pound.
Yeah, so I think what people have to look at with that is there's a lot of movement with Brexit. So Brexit, I mean, this is, if you break it down this way, this will help you understand stuff. So the first thing you have to understand is what fundamentals move various currencies. So, you know, we know that if you break each currency down, so if we look at the Canadian dollar as an example, it's a resource-based currency, right? If we look at the Aussie dollar, it's a resource-based currency. And then when we look at the euro, the pound, and the US dollar, they're more of a structural based, I mean, financial based currency in that sense that, you know, a lot of their power comes with trade. So now we have Brexit happening, and Brexit now is creating a push away from both the yen or sorry, from the pound currency. Now, when you start looking at the euro currency is strengthening because the euro currency has been, you know, it's not being affected as much as the pound. The rationale behind that is the UK wanted to leave the Eurozone. The Eurozone didn't want the UK to leave. So you are creating your own misfortune by doing that. So as the UK becomes more entangled with their problems with removing themselves from Brexit, the euro, if you've noticed, has started to gain a bit of strength. Now, when you go and you look at certain pairs such as the euro versus the Aussie dollar, now the euro is pushing the Aussie dollar down. So if you look at EA as an example, it's flown like I think about 300 or 400 pips this week already. Aussie dollar is really backed by gold. So as the Aussie dollar starts to drop against the bigger currencies, you now have gold starting to drop in general, which then comes over to strengthen, say, the US dollar versus gold. So now now you see gold starting to drop in price with the US dollar because people are putting their money back into the US dollar because of the fact that the euro is gaining strength, the Aussie dollar is losing, so gold is naturally dipping at that point. So you'll see now people are flooding the market into the US dollar, even though the US currency isn't as strong, but it's still stronger than, say, the pound, the Aussie dollar, things of that nature. So when you start looking at those correlations, you start to see that when resources take a hit, the trade and I guess I would say financial currencies start to strengthen at that point. So when you take a look and you see what's been going on in the political climate, that's where you get that little bit of a push, and that's why gold is dipped a bit and now it's going to start pulling up again, but it hasn't really broken out of that range between 1707 and 1896 essentially. So it's just really keep that in mind as you start to watch various pairs. There's some correlations there, but it's a lot to do with the political climate of certain pairs. So that's the reason why gold will dip a bit when it shouldn't technically be dipping. And, you know, obviously the euro is rising against everything else at this point. How do you feel about Bob Proctor? I don't know who Bob Proctor is. Bob is amazing. Okay, well, that's good. If you're watching GJ right now, to be honest, if you're looking to take a trade, you may want to wait for a new candle to form in this area here, because we know that this is most likely going to be your bottom target, but this candle here may have a bit of a pullback because of this information right here. So right over here, you might find that there's going to be a bit of a pullback. So I would watch to see that. And as soon as that happens and you get this candle forming this way, I think that will then complete the move. With gold, on the other hand, this is a very heavy support at 1900s. So once again, I would look to be taking trades below this area here. And what I would want is I would want the candle to come out of that range and then push down into that zone there. That's what I'd be looking for. So you have two instances right now with both gold and GJ that you sort of need to wait a bit. You can see here, Raja drew this little zone here that we have probably off the higher time frames. But to be honest, I want to see this new candle form in this area and then continue to drive down over here. So if you are watching GJ, you need to have a wick and then a drive further down. That's what you'll be looking for with the new 30-minute candle that's starting to come up at this point. So really watch this area here and then make the decision of saying, okay, once we have an upper wick, then I'll take a trade, because then I can place my stop loss above that wick and then continue to drop down to this area over here. So watch this candle here, and the higher it goes, if that's better for you, because then what you can start doing is you can start mapping out the wick, and when that wick forms, you can then basically have your stop above that wick, and then you say, okay, we're going to continue to move further down at that point. And what you can do now is, if you're looking, you can potentially put a stop order over here, and then when this candle finishes doing what it's doing over here, you'll probably end up having it drop over to here. Now keep in mind, this candle here, the way it's forming, it doesn't really have decent structure. So you know there's a higher probability that we're going to drop further down. Now, how do we know that? Because you can see with GJ in general, we always have wicks on the top of the candle before we start the descent. So this is what's happening right now with GJ. So if you're relatively new trading with GJ, that's sort of what you're looking for at that point. And you say to yourself, well, how do I know how high this wick is going to go? You don't. That's the reason why we don't put market orders in, and we would try and see how the market's forming and put a stop order in to then continue to have it drop down. Or once this candle flips bearish, your stop goes above this candle here, and then you start to, you take a trade to let it drop down here, and your clean traffic is this portion right over here to finish off the move. So you have to keep that in mind. And this move, this move down, this can happen in 1 5-minute candle, right? So you have to be aware of that as well. So when you have if you're placing a sell stop over here as an example, you have to understand that how the structure of this candle forms will determine if you believe if that sell stop is still valid, right? Because what you don't want is, you don't want it sort of holding over here a support and then your sell stop being activated. So maybe you may want to put it into this bit of the candle a little bit, but normally what I like to try and do is I like to put it right at this level of the candle, so that at least we can get this wick fill. And with a sell stop, you more than likely won't have any drawdown, because it'll pierce right through and it'll go right through that stop. And this could be your tiny target, as an example, if you feel that the trade is not going your way. And then eventually you have this as your longer term target, and then you can start to move your stop. And what you would do is, as soon as you clear this candle over here, this would be your new stop loss. So your stop loss would be in profit, because this was where your entry point was at that point. And this is now this was your original stop loss. And then as we start to go down, you can start to move your target. But really, because you're on a 30-minute candle, you're not trying to go for more than, I would say a few pips, so right now we're at 533. So you're looking at maybe 300, so you're looking at 20 pips, maybe 15 pips at the most, and that's what you're aiming for at this point. And then now your stop is probably going to be above this candle here if that's what you're looking to take the trade.
Hey, good morning.
Oh, I was on mute. Hey, good morning, Mac. Yeah, so basically what I was talking about was like having a sell right here for price to go down is dangerous. Don't do that because we're still above support. A better idea would be a break of this low right over here, as Ted said. That would make much more sense. But here it's...
Yep, very, very true. So be very cautious.
Yeah. All right, let's take a look at this over here. This EURJPY moving up. I looked at this before. I think this is not a good idea to take. I think a better idea would be to wait for price to create like a minor support and then go up, because essentially this was your big candle and this was your trade. So you basically missed the trade. So you have to now pay the price to wait for support to be formed. I hope people listen to us. I mean, listen to me sometimes. If they do, they'll do better. But all it takes is patience. You just got to be patient. Waiting for break and creation of resistance or support above to enter. Okay. Yeah, this looks good too, right? Because if you see a support forming here, see now whoever was in sells over here at support, now you're just like, oh man.
That's the reason why you always want to look below this area, like Raja said, because this could wick all the way back into this zone. So if you think logically, this is a previous zone and this is the zone that we're attacking. So anytime a pair leaves this area, you want to go through, but then Raja's saying to be extra cautious, you want to drop over here and use this area here as a fresh zone. So this would be where you would want to see the candle whip up and then drive further down. And then this, you have a what we call a zone to zone move at that point.
Yes.
Have a great day, you beautiful gentlemen. Take it easy, all right? Be safe.
Yeah, take care, JCTFX.
Thank you.
Bye, brother.
Wow, EURJPY is showing no signs of slowing down.
Yeah.
Straight bullish. Look at this.
Yeah. Euro is nice.
Yeah, Euro's been flying.
Yeah.
New Zealand, I had a buy on Euro New Zealand, and I closed like 2 hours ago because it was expecting,
wow, man, look at that.
Yeah, Euro and Euro AUD has been flying too.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at Euro AUD, it's the worst chart in the world right now.
Straight.
Wow.
Straight up, and look at where it's going. It's going right to the like 1.7.
Yeah, right there. When you trade EJ, how do you trade when you can't see anything on the left? So you have to look further left, right? So let's go to EURJPY here. So what you can see left is that we are approaching a resistance right here at let's say 125. Yeah, we're approaching that area right there. So you go to the 4-hour chart. You see that we're approaching this resistance here at 125. You go down to the 1 hour chart, you look left, and now you see all this consolidation. Now, this consolidation means that this is the area where it can start rejecting. See this 1 hour resistance? We came down, came up, made resistance, and continued falling, so it's coming back up to that area over there. Will you take more trades? No, I won't take any more trades. It's like asking a signal provider, hey man, are you going to give another signal? He's going to say, oh yeah man, here's one signal, buy USD ruble. And then guys say, okay, perfect. We got a signal.
Very nice.
Very nice. I think that's how signal providers work. They just shout out a pair, and if it's a losing pair, we'll just forget about it. But if it's a winning pair, everybody post your wins now. How much profits did you make? Yeah, man.
What about if your signal provider dies?
Oh. The parrots aren't happy.
Oh my god, I got scared.
Yeah, it sounded like a pterodactyl. Jesus.
Yeah.
It was like Jurassic Park.
Kern's got tiny dinosaurs there from like.
God damn.
It was Jurassic Park once again.
Yeah.
Oh,
Somebody asked about hedging, how institutions hedge instruments. Well, we've talked about this previously, but in FX, banks and institutions use FX to hedge against risk associated with their other asset classes. So as an institution, you trade equities, you trade bonds, you trade real estate portfolios. So as with FX, banks use it as a hedging tool. So if they are exposed in, say, the UK, they will then say to themselves, okay, what do we have to do to minimize our exposure? Because once again, what you're trying to do as an institution is you're always trying to make sure that your exposure is covered. And what that means is, when you trade FX, people always talk about this as they say you should trade options as an example to hedge your exposure. So what you're able to do then at that point is you're able to say, okay, if I have a large holding of, say, Google as an example. Google is a US-based company. So now I am exposed in the US currency market. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hedge myself in that market, and I'm going to take the opposite of US dollar trades to hedge myself. So what I may do is move money into metals or into something that is an opposing idea of the US dollar. So it's similar to the equity market. When people go into the equity market, if the equity market isn't doing well, people move their money into the metals market, right? So there you'll see them move into silver and gold as an example. So that's what institutions do to hedge their positions. They use currency as a hedge. So if they have a wide exposure to a international country, so if they're, if it's a US based country and they have major holdings in the pound, they're going to want to hedge themselves against the pound going down. So they'll find instruments that move opposing ways to the pound. That's what banks and institutions do to hedge their positions. They're never in an uncovered position. Uncovered means, once again, that there's nothing moving in the opposite direction. So we as FX traders, we trade a lot in uncovered positions, right? So when Raja takes a sell on the pound yen, he's not taking a buy on, say, another currency that would be inversely correlated. So he's in a fully exposed position. We're not trading big enough. We're not really in the market long enough to have to hedge our positions, but that's what a lot of banks and institutions do that trade in a long-term fashion, or in a they have billions and trillions of dollars. They're always making sure that they're never fully exposed. So hopefully that helps with people when they talk about how FX works in the institutional side.
Yeah, no, that was a very, very awesome explanation there.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I'll wait for our dinner sometime in the future.
Man, you can come to Milton. Everyone can come to Milton. We're still open.
Whatever, dude. They're closing that down next week. You know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny. I'm going to Oakville tonight. There's a private dinner I'm attending tonight, and they rented out the restaurant in Oakville because there's like nowhere to go to eat.
Plus, also, no one's going to show up there anyway because they're expecting a lot. They're like, yeah, whatever. We're just going to stay home.
Yeah.
So how far is Milton from where Ted lives?
About 40 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, it's not that far.
No, it's not that bad. On the highway, it's good. It's a fast ride.
On the map, it looks like the other side of the province.
Yeah.
You know. Can't wait EUR to start dropping. That's where people really get screwed over. In a very bullish trend, it starts selling, anticipating a drop, and it just keeps on running. How can I work on my discipline in life? Just do the same. Just have a routine. I would say have a routine. Have a routine, have your day planned, and just follow that plan. And I think that the discipline in like your regular life should spill into your trading as well. Like if your life is a mess and it's not planned, then I mean trading will basically, it's going to be a reflection of your personality. That's what I think.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, a lot of people ask like how they can be disciplined. I mean, it's not like putting on a pair of shoes. You actually have to make a conscious effort to be in a disciplined state, and it starts off with small things. I mean, you know, waking up at the same time every day, you know, trying to go to bed at the same time. Like do things that are easy for yourself. A lot of people want to bring different traits into their life, and they do it in such a way that it's nearly impossible to complete. Similar to going to the gym, right? Say you want to go to the gym and you've never been there, and for the first time you're going to the gym. It's like, you can't just start lifting weights. You can't just start working out super hard, because it's just gonna injure you. You're gonna get sore, you're gonna get tired. It's gonna really defeat you. What you should be doing is, you know, slowly getting into it. Take a few weeks just to get used to the routine of actually getting to the gym. Like if you can get to the gym and work out and actually just, you know, walk around the gym and maybe do a couple of exercises, even if you're there for like 15 minutes, the act of actually getting there is starting your discipline. Like it's starting off. Like I remember, like for me, when I started going back to the gym, I mean, I was working out for 20 minutes. Like I was doing 3 exercises and I was done. Like, so that's basically, I was doing maybe 9 to 12 sets of all my exercises total, and then I was leaving. I was literally, at one point I remember one day I went to the gym, I worked out, and I left, and the guy that I walked in with was still changing, and he saw me come back into the change room. But it didn't faze me, because it's like I knew that I had to start off slowly. And the guy looked at me weird. He's like, wow, this guy's already done. But it was like, I'm not going to kill myself for the first week after not going to the gym for, you know, 6 months or a year, or, you know, even ever. Right?
Yeah, you start slow.
Yeah.
He probably said to himself, I mean, this man forgot something yesterday. He walked in, he got it.
Yeah, like literally, I remember it was like, man, this guy's change is really slow. It's like, I'm already done. And it was just because like I didn't feel comfortable overdoing it, but I also just was trying to get back into the routine. And then, you know what, 2 weeks later, yeah, I'm at my full routine. I'm, you know, working out really heavy. I'm doing all my exercises. I'm there for an hour. You know, you don't start to dread going there anymore, because now you're back in the swing of things.
The main thing is when you wake up and you look in the mirror, you're like, okay, you know what? I have gains, and then you get actually motivated to go back.
Mm-hmm.
You just like have to go back. Like for me, when I start back after like a big break, let's say a month, 2 month break, I'll just do for 1 week, 2 weeks, I'll just do every body part for the whole day, just to slowly, you know, get warm up and get sore. And now it's a blast. Now I'm building a gym in my basement. They're changing clothes exercise video for those who like trying new clothes. Oh. Looks like gold did a bit of a pretty big liquidity grab over here.
Yeah, still respecting the 1900s.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Came all the way down here. Nuts.
Yep. It's scary.
One thing I tell myself is don't do it perfect right away. It takes 30 days to build a habit. Once it becomes a habit, then focus on perfecting it. Yes, that's true. For me, my whole thing is simple. I have specific tasks I have to do every day. You know, those are mandatory tasks that have to be done every day. And my focus is to do those tasks to the best of my abilities. You know, whatever they are, be it like gym, working at home, like doing live streams, trading, whatever. So that way I stay disciplined, my day is planned, because when my day is planned, I don't have free time to overtrade. Basically, that's what it is, and that takes time. I think you need to be very, like, you need to have a very, like, a strong, I don't know, like a regiment,
Yeah.
like a,
Yeah, I think it's just one thing at a time. I keep forgetting how young a lot of the people are in the gulag, and it's you're also struggling to find yourself. You're also struggling to figure out what you want to do with your life. So I mean, I do understand that sometimes I sit here and talk, and people will be like, "Oh, that's easy for you because you know you sort of have everything in motion, and you know you have a routine." So I do understand that, but there are things in your life that you can control. You know, how you take care of your body, you know, what do you do on a daily basis? You know, if you work, obviously you just have to write down things that you do on a daily basis that are part of your regiment, right? So I mean, if you're working daily, I mean, that's just part of life, so you have to put that in there, and then you have to slot your time accordingly and say, okay, I have to go to the gym at 7 o'clock at night, or you know, 6 o'clock in the morning, or 7 o'clock. Like, you have to make those conscious decisions. If you're not comfortable going to the gym early in the morning because you're not a morning person, well, then you have to go in the evening, right? Or you have to make a conscious choice to say, hey, I got to start getting up. I mean, I was never really a morning person, but now I'm up every day between, you know, 5 a.m. and 8 a.m. You know, 8 a.m. is usually, that's me sleeping in, but I'm up every morning doing stuff, right? It doesn't mean that now I'm going to bed at 3 in the morning. No, I'm going to bed maybe at 11 o'clock at night or 10 o'clock at night. Like, things start to wind down for me. So you just have to adjust your schedule accordingly. It doesn't mean that when I go out, like, there's instances, some nights I go out and I stay out till midnight or 1 a.m. It's, yeah, there's odd occasions, but it's not something I do every day. You know, when I'm on the West Coast, as an example, like when I'm out there, I'm up at 3 in the morning, working on the New York session, because that's 6 a.m. Eastern time. And then, but I'm going to bed on the West Coast at 9 a.m. or 9 p.m., 8 p.m., right? Like, I'm going to bed at those times to make sure that I'm okay for the New York session the next day. Or what I'll do is I'll go eat dinner at like 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock, so that, you know, by the time I come home, I'm ready to go to bed, essentially. It's just, you get used to it at that point. You're up at 3 in the morning, you can get most of your day done on the West Coast by 9 a.m., 10 a.m. By 10 a.m., I'm done my day on the West Coast. So that's something that I look at as well.
sleeping early is harder than waking up early. It's basic what you want to do in the morning, you know, like if you know you're going to be up early in the morning to do certain things, then it's just sleep early. I mean, it's like not overtrading, right? Just don't overtrade, and it's like if you want to sleep early, just sleep early. Things are very simple in life, man. You just can't complicate them. Yeah, I think we had a pretty good day today. Took these sells. Now prices kind of like retracing. Probably may form like a minor resistance to continue down, or you know, if it doesn't form a minor resistance to retest this low, then I'm not sure what the NYC is going to do, but let's take a look on the 4-hour here. 4 hours now back in this range. Yeah, it's going to get pretty ugly for the 4-hour candles. What time do you sleep? Sometimes around like 12 or 11. 12 is my cutoff. Like, as it's 12, I need to go to bed. If I have guests at home, I let them know, hey, I'm going to go to sleep. You guys can leave when you want. I'm just going to go to bed. So 12, I go to bed.
And if anyone was looking at that sell stop that we were looking at over here, if you haven't already figured it out, it's probably not valid anymore, so you can just close it. But that was the rationale, that sometimes you put your sell stop over here, you wait to see if that gets activated. If not, it's okay. But what you can do now is you can say to yourself, you can put a price alert here. You can get like sort of an email confirmation from your terminal to say, hey, once price comes over here again, I should be alerted to that to potentially take a trade to go back down to here. So it's just something, if you're looking at, or something that you want to do, you can find how to do an email alert. So if you type into Google email alerts on MT4, there is a way to do that. So yeah, you can do the global markets, or yeah, it actually tells you how to do that. So there you go.
Wow, how'd you know this, Ted?
I looked it up on Google.
Wow.
Yeah, so there you go. You can set it up so that you can send information over to your email, and you can send it with your expert advisor or whatever you're doing, and you can get it sent to your phone. You can do that on MetaQuotes.
Yeah, you can have it sent to your phone too. There's a way to do it. I forget what that way is. But it's a...
TradingView has the same thing.
Really? All right, let's take it. Add alert.
Oh, there you go. There's a YouTube channel.
Okay.
Trading Heroes. Here, I'll give it to Rakeel. He can.
Trading Heroes.
Yeah, they actually tell you how to set up MetaTrader to send
TD
text
Direct
message
Investing
alerts.
has platform.
Oh, text message alerts. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Surprised they have like 21,000 views only. Now let's add 1,000 more.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, it's a 3-minute video.
There's a bunch of tabs at the top. Just click on email. This is information that you may have to find out from your host. I expect it's going to be default name and the email.
Perfect. Time to call my tech support.
So then your mobile phone, you can check that out. It's usually just your phone number at something. So in my case, if everything checks out.
Oh, okay. So there's this website where you can create a number, email, and then it shoots out you.
Test button. Information. So I'm going to click. You can click OK here, and if it says message failed, or go check my text messages, and I'll show you what came up.
Where is it? He hasn't shown it.
Back here, check your information here.
So basically what happens is the alert gets sent to this email, and then they send that same message to this, they text that same message to this number automatically.
Yep.
Text.att.com.
Yeah, so there's lots of people, there's lots of things there that you can use. So when people are like, people say, I can't be on the charts all day, or how do I make sure I don't miss entries? These are little tips you can use so that you can mark certain price points where you feel those are important, and then have your email or whatever alert you to those ideas.
Wow, that video was made, what, 10 years ago?
Yeah, I know.
Crazy.
Damn.
And this guy still replied to him a month ago. Would you say a break above the previous 30-minute bearish candle would be a confirmation for buy, assuming this current 30-minute close is slightly below previous? No, because this will be a 8 pip range.
8 pip range. So you've been working out what, 6 days a week, Ted? I know you work out like what, like 6 days a week, Rakeel.
So a good idea would be to wait for like a minor resistance to form right over here for price to continue down. Oh, I think Mac is on mute.
Yeah. You hear me now?
Oh.
Oh. Oh.
You guys are assholes. You guys are assholes. I'm here checking it.
He started asking about Ted, and then he started looking at his mic. Damn, am I on mute?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put the filter on now.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good. I do think that by London close. Okay, so here's the thing, right? So if you look on the weekly here, weekly hasn't really gone bearish. And let's take a look at the daily over here. Daily's also came up. Daily is rejecting this area, which we rejected last week. The 4-hour candle just started now and it's bearish. Now, this is going to be interesting because if we break below 136.500, then we're coming down to, you know, like 136.300 and all those ideas down over there. But for the 4-hour to really continue bearish, we really need to break below this area here. This area right over here. And then we can come down. I can't trade London session and NY session because I have university and Asian starts midnight. What can I do? Asian starts midnight. See, depends when your university starts, right? Like, I used to have work. My work used to start at 9, so I trade from 5 to 8 or 5 to 8:30. So those are some things you'll have to see. Like, you basically have to make time. That's what it's going to come down to. But at the same time, you have to make sure that it doesn't interfere with your studies as well. Because university comes first and trading is a hobby, right? Oh, look at this. We're breaking below the low. So it's 9 a.m. over here, and it's time for me to basically start calling it a day. We had a pretty good move here with sells on GJ, and I think with London close, if we break below 136.500, we can continue down here. I might look into this, but not attentively. I'm just going to be here and there. But yeah, just took one trade. It was a winning trade, and that's about it. Called it a day now.
You sold from go back to GJ?
Yeah,
sir.
From here?
No, just a little bit above.
740.
Yeah, right here.
Oh, so
yeah.
like early.
Yeah, right here. At first I sold. I don't know where I sold in the beginning. I think I sold in the beginning somewhere. I think it was over. Yeah, it was right over here. I sold for this candle to continue down to fill the wick, but then I closed because I was uncomfortable.
Oh, okay.
And then I gave it a second chance right over here as it started breaking the low. Well,
right.
we gave it a second chance.
Yeah, because it looks super messy on before that, for that candle here.
Yeah, it was pretty messy over here. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
And we killed it.
Oh, you guys killed it. Yes, nice.
Very nice.
This is nice. Great success.
Okay, Captain Raja.
All right. Take care, everybody. Have fun.
Bye-bye.
See you tomorrow morning.
See you.
Adios, adios. Shukriya, shukriya.
Adios, amigos. Shukriya.
Yeah, shukriya.
What?
Bro, sugar.
Sugar?
Sugar.
Shukriya. Shukriya.
Salam alaikum. Salami. No.